Good morning, evening, or afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. God, it's been too long since I've said that. And of course, you're thinking, I've been listening to you upload on YouTube weekly now. That's mostly true, but um, it's been a good month and a half since I've recorded Dungeons and Dragons with some of the players. We're gonna go meet them here in a second, but really quick, I just wanted to let you guys know that I am super excited to start this. I am excited to be with you guys every Saturday night from this point forward until the end of the campaign, or until something breaks and we're not able to do this anymore. I'm excited to be with you at every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and then whatever Mountain Time and Central Time. You guys can do the math. But I'm excited to see you guys here on the stream. If you guys are listening back to this, then welcome, I guess. If you guys are joining in for the first time, then welcome. So, okay. So without further ado, let's go meet these crazy, crazy people. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Overunder, a supernatural Western campaign that I am very happy to bring to you with the support of a couple of fine people here. We'll get to character introductions here in a second, but really quick, I just want to welcome Final Trap back. You might remember him from Eclipse, a Star Wars story, and Survival as Rook. Then we have Tech or Warkey, who played Narsor. Gosh, now I'm trying to pull names that I haven't said in 3 weeks out of my head. We're joined by. Do you go by Nico or Johnny now on Discord?
Honestly, at this point, it's both.
Yeah, so Johnny, who played John Morgan from the Star Wars series, we're joined by Leo, who played Ghoul in the Star Wars series, and we're joined by Creed, who played Jason in the Star Wars series. So welcome all you guys, and then the person we're missing is Ranger, who played Sierra in the Star Wars series. So, yeah, so welcome. It's good to have you guys back in a game. I'm excited. I'm very excited to begin playing, and I hope you guys are too. So,
Very
okay,
much so.
let's get down to actually,
Business.
yeah,
We can't
business,
sing.
but
We
I
can't
mean,
sing.
no, don't. That's
No,
demonetization.
no, we can't. No, we can't say that on stream. That will get us. That will get us a strike.
What did you?
That'll get
I
that'll
didn't
get us.
sing it.
That'll get
No
us
singing.
Disney monetized. Okay.
Didn't
Yeah,
sing that
we
because I
don't-
almost
we-
bursted into song there.
No,
so.
no. Okay, so let's. I think it would be more beneficial for the listeners to understand the prompt, and for many TTRPGs, actually, for any good TTRPG storyline, there has to be something that brings all characters together to the same area to at least interact with each other. They may not like each other, they may not team up with each other, which all of that has yet to be seen, but given the current group, I have no idea. But each of these characters received the same letter. Dear, and then the name is smudged out by water. My name is Xavier Caliburn, and I write to you in what I believe to be my final days. As I compose this letter, the date is Christmas Eve, 1866, and I am being hunted by enemies of, well, hellish nature. If you do not remember me by my birth name, you will probably remember me by my handle, Excalibur, the sword-wielding bounty hunter from over the sea. I apologize for the abruptness of this letter, and I am truly sorry for any inconvenience I'm about to cause you. But this is a matter of utmost urgency, and you owe me. You will travel to Overunder, a little town on the eastern border of the Montana Territory, right where the North and South Dakota territories meet. That's where I'm headed, and, Lord willing, I'll meet you there. If I am not there by the time you arrive, my associate will find you. I have not the time nor ink to remind you of the courtesy I did you those years ago. But I beg you, answer my call, or there will indeed be hell to pay, and we shall pay most dearly. I pray this letter finds you with speed, and you find your way to Overunder even faster. Godspeed, Xavier. That was the letter that all six of my lovely patrons or players here, or bards, whatever. I mean, technically, you're known as bards in
Assholes.
Discord. Hey,
He's not wrong.
I mean, he's
He's
not
got
wrong
a
at all.
point.
He's speaking
I
truth.
mean, I call myself that, so
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
I don't think
He's
any of us
not
will deny
wrong.
this.
He's got a point.
And the only ones who will deny it are the only one who would deny it is the biggest of us all. So
Wait,
No.
which one of us is the biggest of us all?
I'm not pointing.
I think he's
fingers.
implying Sigma
Moving
there.
on. Okay,
wasn't- I
so
wasn't.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce some characters.
Never.
I think it's about high time that we get down to that. So let's start at the bottom and work our way up. It is entirely up to the five of you, six, including Ranger. It is up to you as to whether or not you disclose. I mean, obviously, you give your name, either your nickname, your full name, whatever. It's your personal preference. And then also give a short little summary of who you are and kind of your backstory, but only as much as you would give a friend that you don't want to spoil the story for. So I think you guys can use discretion there. So I think, yeah, Johnny, I think your keyboard is bleeding through. I'm hearing some clicking and tic-tacking and
Sorry
typing.
about that.
Nah, you're good. Let's see. So let's start at the bottom. Mr. Final, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I play a character named John Walker. He is a pastor from a nearby town to Overunder. He's not that far away. But he met our mysterious benefactor, if you will, after, I'll call it a family dispute, and owes him because of that.
Very interesting. I'm not sure if I would call Xavier a benefactor. I think I'd call him a debtor, maybe? A debt
Benefactor, blackmailer.
or
In that case, we would be the debtor, I think.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't know. I got nothing at this point. So okay, cool. So John Walker. Tech or Warky.
Yeah.
I know you as both, but I don't know. You'd prefer to be called Warky, I think, right? Or
I'll listen. I'll respond to tech or work. It
Okay.
doesn't matter.
all right, capiche. All right, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am playing Edward Rian. Get the cat out of the bag here. Edward Rian is very clearly a incorporeal person. Lord knows you're going to see that upon first glance.
I think we can talk about that a little bit, but continue.
Yeah. He is a. He lost. Or how do I want it? He was inducted into a order of magic users called Spellslingers at a rather relatively young age, and has since then worked with them and risen in the ranks. He is a fairly high-ranking Spellslinger at this point.
Cool. And then just off the top of your head, he's a U.S. We talked about it, and he's part of the U.S. Kind of sanctum, if you will, of spellslingers. Where do you think he is traveling from to get to Overunder? Like, is it a long haul, or is he relatively close by?
It might be a bit of a journey for him. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okie dokie. So that is Edward Rian. Very cool. All right, got that fixed. So, okay. Let's move on to the next person, which is Johnny. Tell us a little bit about your character.
Yes, I am playing Dr. Marcus Morningstar, an English gentleman who appears to be in his, not to say, early 40s.
Understandable.
And he has known Xavier for quite a while now, and during his travels, he's picked up a few tricks. And this has been one hell of a long haul for him, as he came from Europe.
All the way from Europe? Yike.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay,
Well, that's where he
interesting.
was at the time of the letter.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I know where they met, but I also that's cool that he's hauling all the way from out there. Okay. Then let's bounce up to Leo. Tell us a little bit about your character, my man.
I am playing cleric, a kind of gaunt figure, like, well, not gaunt, but lean, I guess the proper word. Skeletal, with a black cowboy hat, black leather duster, black boots, pants, and a black sheet of metal as a face mask. Like a full sheet of metal covering my entire face, no eye holes or anything. I have shoulder length white hair that pretty much covers the rest of my head. There is a Kainjal short sword, which is a Russian form of short sword, on my left hip, and a Colt Army Model 1860 on my right thigh. That's about it.
Okie dokie. Okay, so Creed. Tell us a little bit about your character, good sir.
My character is Father Thomas Elias Kane. He's a Southern man, and he carries with him a rifle on his back, a Bowie knife on his hip, and he has a passion for helping people. That's about all there is to say about him.
Okay, so those are the characters introduced. Okay, so let's talk about Overunder and what's going on with Overunder. So Overunder is, as I said, a small town that is on the eastern border of the Montana Territory, right where the North and South Dakota territories meet. So you don't need to go and look up a map of the time. I did not do that much homework because I'm sure the territory borders shifted a little bit. But modern day map, you can take a look at the states, and then right there at that T junction between the north and South Dakota borders and the Montana border, it's inside the Montana border, just right inside the Montana border, right there. If there's actually a town there and you're from that town, then I apologize. I basically hijacked your land. Sorry, not sorry. This is before your town existed. Hopefully. Anyways, let's talk about who gets there and kind of what's going on. So, for those of you who are in the stream, And for those of you who are listening later on YouTube, if you follow our Twitter and Facebook, these maps will be going up shortly after this stream is over. This map will go up to the Twitter and the Facebook, so that you can kind of see what all is going on and see you two will have a reference for where they're going and what they're doing. All right, for the sake of simplicity, we will say that you all kind of arrive around, or well, not necessarily in order, but around the same time, because some of you guys have to get your affairs in order. Some of you guys don't really have affairs to get in order. And some of you guys just have to haul a long way to get there. We'll say that the first person that gets there is Mr. John Walker. And I know you want to explore the town, but for the sake of simplicity, we're going to say that you roll into town kind of later in the day, and from there on, you go into a hotel, or you choose a hotel to stay at temporarily. This night will be free of charge because we're in the opening sequence, and the cutscenes always give you the first night free of charge. But where do you choose to stay on the map? Go ahead and open it up. Pick a hotel or anywhere else I met, or not anywhere else, but you see any place that you might want to stay?
I am thinking about actually checking in. Well, am I allowed to check in with the church since I'm a pastor to see if I can stay there?
Absolutely.
Then I would be going to the stable, dropping off my horse, and then heading to the church.
Okay. Which stable? Pondside or Riverbend?
I'm gonna
Decisions,
go with
decisions.
Riverbend.
Cool. All right. All right. So you drop your horse off. You walk on over to the church, and you meet. Let's see. Where is the church? Church. You meet there. They're actually closing up for the day or for the evening, and blowing out most of the candles and lanterns. But a young man approaches you, and he is dressed as a traditional pastor, and he looks at you and he says, "Ah, why, hello there, stranger. What can I do you for?"
Hi, I'm checking in to see if I could spend the night at the church. I'm a pastor from another town over, and I don't have anywhere to stay for the night.
Well, of course, we can sort you something out here shortly. My name is Pastor. Um, 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 and then another person walks
You
up
okay
behind
there,
him
son?
and taps him on the shoulder and like kind of smacks him on the back of his shoulder, and he finally stutters it out. He says, "Pastor Walkins, that's my name, and this is my aide, an assistant that I would probably stutter through an entire service without. This is Mr. Murdo." So, Pastor Walkins says that you can, of course, stay the night. He indicates a small room off to the side that is reserved for people who need to stay with the church. And yeah, so you have successfully secured a room at the church for the time being. Whether or not that changes is, well, it's up to you. But yeah. Okay, so you spend the night at the church, and in the morning, we'll say that you step out of the church and watch as and nobody's changed their answers, right? And everybody's still getting there the same way. Um, let's see. Okay.
Like arriving into town.
Yeah, you were riding into town, and so was Father Kane. Were you riding into town, or were you walking? I don't remember if you had a horse or not.
I do have a horse.
Okay. And
I
then
don't have a horse.
you do not.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
You were in
I
charge
was
of
planning on-
figuring it out.
No, I know, and I thought that I was walking.
Okay.
thought
I
I was
have a
walking.
question for Marcus then. Are you still coming in on that wagon?
Yes, sorry. I forgot who you were talking to.
Okay. Then okay,
Yes.
and Edward, you had a horse, right?
Yes, we talked about the horse briefly. Remember?
Yes, we did. Okay. You can one of the traits of being the race that you are is that you can be as solid or see-through as you want. So if you want to appear completely normal, like a normal person, then you can, or you can be pretty much invisible. Entirely up to you. I shouldn't have just given you that power, but it is entirely up to you to decide.
I think for now he probably looks mostly tangible. Like
Yeah, if somebody with like
you
a
wouldn't
high
you wouldn't notice something's off unless you like actually looked at him for like a minute or two.
All right. Now, what
Yeah.
does Edward look like?
I have a little description here. He's a bit of a taller boy. He's like probably really tall for this time, but like screw you. I want tall characters. He's 6'1". He has his eyes are a very pale blue like ice.
Okay.
He has shaggy hair. I never specified the color on my sheet. I don't know why. I'm gonna assume I meant brown. We're gonna go with brown. He wears the standard trench coat and cowboy hat, and his boots and chaps. The chaps do in fact have an ass. They are not assless chaps. Fear not.
Oh my god.
Wait, you're wearing assed chaps?
No,
I mean, all chaps are assless.
with ass.
I wasn't gonna say
Heck
anything.
So you just wear
Coward.
chaps as a pants. You idiot.
Check you absolute
It
coward.
matters not.
So
My
essentially, you're just
I'm
idiocy is
wearing
sorry.
leather
I
pants.
probably just broke
Yes.
somebody's ears. I'm sorry.
It's more
Ay,
No,
ay,
I break more ears
ay.
than you, Sigma. You cannot dethrone me.
Housed chaps.
Ass chaps.
First meme, everybody. Asked chaps. So,
And of course, since he said he's wearing all black, he's just emo wearing leather
No,
pants.
I never said it was
Yes.
all black.
yes, we're making this canonical.
No, he's not emo. Don't
All
do this
black
to me.
Assed chaps. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're gonna get kicked off Twitch.
Oh
no,
yeah.
I mean, if we get kicked off Twitch faster than hot tub streamers, then I'm gonna have words. I'm gonna have
I
multiple
mean, you're not a
violent.
hot girl, though.
I have multiple
He's got
violent words
what?
to say.
Shit, man, he's got a point.
Listen, man, with COVID restrictions lifted, I can fly to Twitch HQ and I can have words with some front desk person.
He's got a good point.
Father Kane, you are approaching the town of Overunder, riding along your merry way, and you are very quickly flanked by another rider. You are joined by Edward, even though you do not know his name. And you two ride side by side for a little bit. And then I'll leave it up to you, Edward, whether or not you kind of speed on past him. Because, I mean, you got yourself a special horse, and you can do that if you want. But you also don't have to be a turd about it. So, um,
We'll play nice. We won't use the special horse
Okay.
for special purposes just yet.
okie dokie. Creed, Edward rides up next to you. What do you say or do?
What time of day is it?
It's getting closer to noon, but it's still morning.
I'll say, mighty fine day we got going on. I hope it's a good one.
Edward nods, and he nods and he says, "It's been quite a journey getting here. What brings you here?"
Um, Thomas is just gonna lean his head back as he rides, sigh, say, I don't really know. I I came to see a friend of the family. What brings you to these parts?
An old acquaintance called in a favor, and showing up to repay it.
It's a mighty fine thing you're doing. It's a mark of a great man who keeps his word.
We gotta keep your word, otherwise ain't no one gonna believe it.
Thomas is just gonna chuckle and nod his head. That's right.
Okay. Let's see.
Hold on, I gotta sneeze.
looks over to Edward and says, "Hold on, I gotta sneeze." And then
Just
he
my
sneezes
nose.
into Edward, and just the mist just goes through Edward.
I actually did sneeze. I banged my nose against something.
No, I know you had to sneeze, but like if we made that canon, cowboy sneezes through ghost. Haha, funny joke. Oh.
the moment when it's beneficial to be intangible.
Okay, so Marcus, I have a question for you. Did you hijack that wagon that you're currently on, or did you hitch a ride? Or are we going to say that it was your wagon all along?
I want to say that it is his wagon because he's done this for quite a while. So
Is that his
getting a
job
wagon
though?
is-
Like I'm not going to spoil what kind of wagon it is because you and I talked about this. You said it as a joke, but I took it seriously.
Oh, I meant it seriously. as
Okay. Good.
well. This is a wagon he stole many years ago, but it's just grown attached to, so he's kept it.
So you hit it, you went over to Europe, came back, dug it up again, and now you're using it.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so in that case, Marcus, you are riding along in your wagon, slowly, rolling on down the road towards Overunder, and on the side of the road there walks a man dressed in mostly black, and as you kind of slow to kind of get a look at him as you start to kind of roll by him, you notice that he has no face. It is Cleric, though you do not know his name. Do you say anything to him, or do you continue on? And Cleric, at the sound of a wagon rolling by you, do you do anything to indicate that the person should stop?
About what time of day is it?
A little bit before noon.
And I am headed towards Overunder, but not there yet.
No, you are. Let's put it this way: putting yourself on any kind of transportation would mean that you would probably make it within the day, if not maybe a little bit more. Continuing at your current pace, it will take you at least 2 more days, if not 3 or 4.
Okay, then yeah, I'll put a hand out. See if they stop. And I wave at them.
Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus will slow down the wagon, not to a complete stop, but enough that he can hop on.
Okay.
Any conversation?
He's just going.
Anything? Anything.
Okay.
Yeah, Marcus is just gonna go. You heading to Overunder or you heading further?
Over-under will work for now.
I see no issue then.
I have a very important question. Cleric, do you hop in the shotgun or do you hop in the back of the wagon? Actually,
Is it
there
covered?
should be no shotgun on this buggy. Or well, there is. I think it was carts were made to have 2 seats in the front.
Yeah.
Do you hop shotgun or do you hop in the back of the wagon?
Is the back covered?
No, it's an open backed wagon.
I'll hop shotgun.
Okay. Now
Bunker down.
your ability allows you to see without eyes. How much, like, in what detail is that? Are we talking like Daredevil level where it's like you can see the outlines of everything, or just like
Yes,
if it
basically like sonar.
yeah, okay. And then in that case, go ahead and you can do the honors of making the first roll of the game, my good sir. Go ahead
Hey.
and this is a perception based thing, so go ahead and roll 1d20 plus your wisdom modifier.
7.
7. Okay, so 1d20 plus 3. You rolled a 7. Cool. Nothing's wrong. It's fine. Everything is fine. And you guys continue on down the road to Overunder. Is there any conversation that's made betwixt the two of you, or are you guys
Unless he
just
starts it, I'm not saying anything.
okay? Cool.
Yeah, Marcus is just gonna stay quiet for now.
Okay.
He has no reason to start a conversation right now.
Let's bounce back to John Walker, Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker walking around. So, John, you step out of the church, and it is just before midday. You took a little bit of time to get yourself prepared and fancy looking. Which, by the way, Mr. Kane and Mr. Rian, you are some of the most soft-spoken Western gentlemen I think I've ever done heard. But I mean, nothing bad about that. I think now is a good time to introduce the time spending system with a simple exercise. So the way for the audience, so that you guys can understand how we're gonna make things work a little bit and how we're gonna spend time in this world, is we have a system developed where it's based off of, I believe it's 2 6-sided dice. We'll see. But for the most part, I'll just read the blurb that I gave the players. Have a solution for this. Okay. We'll be measuring time for the sake of sanity in increments of half an hour and full hours. And there are 3 ways that players, or myself, can pass the time. You can choose to idle/sleep. You can choose to work on a project, or you can choose to travel. So sleeping and idling, this is going to be the primary way that players can recover health, barring health potions and medical treatment. You will need time to heal, makes sense. So you may choose just how long you would like to rest. The shorter the rest, the more ineffective the health restoration will be. So an hour-long rest will not heal. Obviously, it won't heal like a broken leg or anything like that, or give you much time to regain energy or anything like that. So, but more about that later. Projects, let's say for the sake of example that you need to I don't know. Let's pull an example out of an old Western movie. Magnificent Seven. Let's pull an example out of the Magnificent Seven. They, spoiler alert, have to shore up the defenses of a town and fight off this large gang of criminals. That was a project, or that would be what would define a project under this system. So these projects will pertain to different stats. Convincing the town would be charisma. Building things would be intelligence or wisdom. And in order to do this, you would roll 2d6 or 1d6, depending on the scale of the task, and then subtracting the modifier of the stat that applies to it from the total. And that will be how much time you must spend on that project to a minimum of 1 hour. If the roll gets subtracted into the negatives, then it only takes 30 minutes. Leveling up is included as a project. And then travel, and this is the one that I wanted to talk to you about, John, and that was it takes time for you to get places. For every half hour you are traveling, you have a small chance of having like a random encounter, depending on a roll that I make personally. Traveling across town takes half an hour, but in this circumstance, if you have a specific place on the map that you'd like to try and find or go to, then by all means. But I offer you this idea: spend some time familiarizing yourself with the layout of the town, and insert whatever amount of time you want to trying to get a layout of the town. But I will leave that up to you. So what do you do with your time, and how much time will you spend doing it? Decisions.
Let me look over the map quick, see if there's anything that sticks out. Not much. So I guess I'll just spend my time familiarizing myself with the town.
Okay, so how much time do you want to spend familiarizing yourself with the town? I'm sorry, I missed that if you indicated it.
I did not.
Okay.
And how much time do I have?
As much time as you want. Not
I
the
imagine
answer
it would
you...
take me
Go ahead.
probably a couple hours, because if I cross once, it's half an hour. So I don't know, 2 or 3 hours.
Okay, 3 hours.
So are the smaller, like 1 by 1 boxes just houses?
Yep, they're just regular houses.
Okay.
Okay, so in that case, go ahead and roll plus wisdom. And I will let you ask me a question about any of the buildings that you see in town, or give you
And
summaries of them.
so for our skills, the bottom box is the modifier, right?
The plus.
Okay.
And by the way,
And
just in case anybody listening, you guys are not in the loop, because I know a lot of people in here are friends and not necessarily fans, but friends. But for people at home, we are using a homebrew system. Oh, you're using the cool
I think
dice app thing. Yep,
I
that
think
worked.
that went to the right dice box.
Yep. Is that 12 plus 2, 14?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, that is just under a complete success. So in this system, what we're doing is we're kind of breaking it down, and if it's a nat 20, it's really good. If it's 15 plus, it's a success. If it's between 14 and 10, it's a mixed success where I get to do something to them, but they still succeed. If it's anything less than 10, it is a failure, and then if it is a 1, it is a critical failure and something bad happens. And we'll kind of cover things about it as we go. So, okay.
Sigma, on that topic, don't we still get experience for failing a roll?
No, you do not.
No?
On
Okay then.
yeah, on I think it's no bad luck. Oh wait, no. If you fail a roll, you mark experience. Yes, and then there are other things.
Yes, I was gonna say, cleric, you failed that deception roll.
Yeah, and he should have marked experience. I would think by now you would know to do that. But
You would think.
yeah.
Just for the reminder.
Okay. And so All right, so with a 14, you have a mixed success. So I'm not going to say that you fail in some way. You can ask me about 2 buildings that you see. Like, you managed to lay out the town and have a general layout in your head. And kind of, you've got a basic layout. You don't know the names of all the businesses and everything, but a few catch your eye. 2 in particular. Which ones are they? And ask me maybe a question or 2 about them.
Dia ring.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's not
That's
supposed to be
no,
one
no, no.
word.
It is a that is an abbreviation. So the map has abbreviations on it, and I can supply full names for that. But let's see. That is a shop known, like, you take a look at it and or notice it as you walk through town, and it is a shop called the Diamond Ring. And I'll give that one to you for free. Any like abbreviated ones, I'll answer for free. But ask me a question about it if you want to know more about it.
I think I'm good for now. What about? Well, I guess I'll use one on the church that I stayed at before to see if I had noticed anything.
You don't notice anything about the church, but across the street is the graveyard. And you can't help but notice that it looks like a ruined building. Like, it's very much a graveyard. It is grass with tombstones and everything. But the wall around the graveyard, rectangular in shape, is about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller, but it's about the same size as the church that you stayed at the night before. And you take a really long and hard look at it, and as you do, Mr. Murdo, Matthew Murdo, um, walks past you, on his way into the church. He's the aide, and he says, "Yeah, that the graveyard used to be the old church of Under. Technically, this," and he pats the railing of the church as he's walking up the steps. "This is the new church of Overunder, and that is the old church of Overunder. Um, there was before my time when it happened, but there's some conflicting stories as to how it happened. Some say it was an earthquake, some say it was a fire, others say that Fester left something. But that's a bunch of different stories. You'll get a different one depending on who you ask." He shrugs and he continues on his way inside.
I'm going to walk up and investigate the remnants of the actual building to see if I can figure out possibly what might have happened, to like look for charring or
So
any kind
all
of
that's
other
left
marks that I
is
might
the
recognize.
stone foundation. Like, there is no, like, I'll give this one to you for free, but there's no wood left. There is nothing. It is, to a passerby, it would look like a graveyard surrounded by a rough stone wall. Like, that's how old this building is, and that's how gone this building is.
Hmm.
Any other businesses you'd like to know about?
Um, what about B&B?
Okay, so the B&B is the bed and breakfast. So, you pass by that. That's one of the first shops that you pass, in your quest to kind of get a mental layout of the town, and you smell the smell of like fresh bread coming from inside, and you kind of look in the window and you see people at tables, eating, and a counter, just through the glass window. There's one big glass window and then a door kind of set off to the side. Um, and I'll leave it up to you whether or not you decided to stop in there and grab breakfast. But Yep, B&B stands for bread and breakfast.
Sure, I'll go in and have breakfast there.
Cool. So this is before, we'll say that this is before you take your 3 hour time to map everything out. Let me scroll down and find the B&B. Okay.
You worry me greatly.
This is
What?
concerning.
Yes.
I'm very
Look at the
concerned.
Discord chat. What happened?
Wait, what?
Okay. So I designed some names. And then I also made random names because for those of you listening, I have a good 85 NPCs already written up to populate the town's businesses at minimum, and then we'll have additional prop characters. So, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, put some work into this. But you look. You look over the counter, and behind the counter stands a dark-skinned gentleman with a small beard, bald, and he's running the register. And he looks up at you and he says, "Good morning." And then he goes back to writing on the little pad of paper that is right next to the register. And walking around the establishment is also a dark-skinned woman wearing a blue dress and an apron, and she is serving tables and taking things out from the kitchen, as well as cleaning the counter and making sure the place looks tidy. So I'll leave it again up to you if you want to converse with them at all, or
So it is still like breakfast time, right?
yeah.
Okay. So I'll sit down at the table and wait for the waitress to come up.
She comes on over with a. Actually, the waitress doesn't come over. It's the gentleman. He comes over and he kind of leans to the side and says, "What can I do for you, stranger?"
Well, what would you be offering for breakfast?
He takes a menu out of the back of his waistband, of his apron, and he puts it on the table and he says, "The specialty today is eggs and bacon, our personal favorite around here. However, there's also eggs and toast and eggs, and yeah, we got a lot of eggs in today."
I guess I'll have some eggs and bacon.
Fantastic. And he writes it down, and he walks over and submits a ticket to the chef, and he or walks back into the kitchen and submits the ticket, and then comes back out and he says, "So I don't think I've ever seen you around here before. What you say your name was again?"
John Walker.
Ah,
I'm a pastor coming into town.
oh, well, bless my soul. It's nice to meet you. My name's
You as well.
my name's Sam. I'm run this little or I'm the manager of this little establishment, and with my wife Eliza." And he nods his head to the waitress, and he says, "It's mighty nice to see you, Mr. Walker. I hope you enjoy your meal." And he turns and
Thank you.
attends to another couple customers that just came in. He says, "Oh, and by the way, all of our eggs, unfortunately, are scrambled. Sorry about that in
That's fine.
advance." And he turns and walks away.